Good morning, everybody. All right, let's see what we got. Well, we know what we got. We got a whole lot of chop this morning. EURUSD just absolutely shredding people left and right. So we kind of staying away from this. I was looking for this thing to take out this swing high right there. And then this happened on this day right here. So we started moving lower, and then we were watching this for short side continuation yesterday morning. And as you can see, that did not happen at all. It traded straight up, smoked the swing high there, and now you're seeing a pullback, 4-hour res. So, I mean, for now, all I can say is I'd probably stay away from this thing until it decides which way it wants to go. What I assume is going to happen is it's going to head lower. It's been chopping around on the lows for quite a while now. If we go out to the weekly, you can see this. Like for 5 weeks, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, we've just been straight trading sideways. We created a weekly support and have not been able to go under it. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I'm leaning more towards it breaking down simply because this is your weekly. All of your stuff is over top of you, right? If you go over here and look, I mean, you bounced off of oversold regions on the weekly. So essentially, right now, a lot of people are concerned, right? They keep thinking that things are going to be bullish, and they forget the fundamental thing that helps you determine what's bullish and what's bearish. So I'm going to go over that real quick with you. If an asset is bullish, it's making higher highs and higher lows on most time frames. If an asset is bearish, it's making lower lows and lower highs on most time frames. So you got weekly here doing this, and you're below the 50 on the RSI. That's a pretty good indicator that the bears are in control. Same goes for Bitcoin, unfortunately. Nobody wants to talk about the bearish case on Bitcoin, and I know why. It destroys your likes and all this stuff if you're trying to be an internet influencer. People don't want to hear that stuff, right? They want to hear only bull, win buy, win moon. They don't want to hear the bearish side. Bitcoin for the last several weeks has been trading lower, making lower highs and lower lows. Last week we had a nice bullish bounce. We were looking for this bounce. If you remember 2 Saturdays ago, the video I put out, 5 bullish confluences that could make Bitcoin see a pop. Well, there's the pop, and the pop got sold into instantly. What I was looking for is a retest of old weekly support or old weekly resistance to see if that would become support. So when we got down there and you just sliced right through it, well, that's not happening. So that would have been your uber bullish case on Bitcoin here, right? Same scenario, bearish candle, weekly breakout, weekly close above. Next week, trade into it, find support, and boom shakalaka. This is bullish. This is bearish. Okay? It's as simple as that. Bearish means you're going lower. Bullish means you're going higher. On the daily, on Bitcoin, are you going higher or are you going lower? Well, I mean, if you want to stretch it out, of course you're going higher. Bitcoin has only been bullish its entire history. But right now, the last 2 months, it's been going down. We were looking for support, but these last 2 days have been insane. The selling is just vicious. Now, I posted a chart yesterday on Twitter. This is it, right? This is your quarterly. This is Q4's price action. The fourth quarter, 2021. You traded up, made a new all-time high, and then rejected. You are trading just barely off of the open of Q4. So that means all of the bullish price action that you've seen in Q4, you have since given back, right? You've given it all back. Can it find support? I absolutely hope it does. This thing closes in 1 day and 14 hours. It will be a new year, new quarter, new everything. 2022 is literally right here upon us. I do not want to see this thing close red, because if it does, then that means that this repricing is absolutely bearish. Next area of support would be the Q2 support down here. All right. That's your last support zone on your higher time frame. If this retreats and closes bearish, that means you will be below the open or the close of this candle. That means this will be the target. But that has to happen first, and it's, it might not. But it's still leaning heavily more to the bearish side. Here's another thing. When do you know when an asset is making a trap? On a monthly time frame, Bitcoin has made a bull trap. The reason? Well, you took out resistance on a monthly closing basis. Once again, in Bitcoin's entire history, when it makes closes above old bullish resistances, you generally see bullish continuation in every scenario, every time since Bitcoin's history, since it was first made. This is the very first time where you made monthly resistance break a new all-time high and got sold off. You took out the low of this bullish candle with this wick. That means this bullish candle was a trap, and people were trapped. You can see it in the chart. Everybody was trapped. Everybody was looking for bullish continuation up here. And what happened? You had the liquidator. The liquidator showed up and took everybody out. There he is, right there. That's massively bearish. It's not bullish. And since you put in this candle, you've been trading in its range the entire time. When this candle was put in, I specifically said that you could see choppy price action for multiple weeks. And that's what we've gotten. Choppy inside price action for multiple weeks. It looked like we could see this trade up and take out the highs, but unfortunately it found resistance and is now trading at the low side of the range. You are getting a bounce, but how much of a bounce do you really think this is going to be when you see all of this? I was looking for a bounce in two different places on this push lower, and in both scenarios, it pushed lower. So be careful, guys. This is end of year repricing that is happening on Bitcoin. People are rebalancing their portfolios, and a lot of people are selling. Now, I understand that there is a lot of stuff going on with brokerages over in China, and all that absolutely will affect Bitcoin and its price action. And you will see, a lot of falling like this because people are getting liquidated out of their positions and out of their accounts, essentially, in China. So it is causing a massive sell-off. But they didn't let price get higher before it started, which was insane to me. Like, they just allowed this little pop right here to last for a few days, and then they brought the selling back in. And right now, every bit of this bullish move that we got from the five bullish confluence indicators has completely been sold off. If I go out here to the 2-week, which is the one thing that I was watching most of, there is your demand zone for your 2-week level. That is the level of which I took a bullish position. So I took the trade for this 2-week session all the way up. When we smoked the high up there, that's when I basically crushed the rest of the position. Left very little on, but moved the stop way up. And this came down and took me out of the trade. Now I've been waiting for it to find support, and it hasn't. So there's no point in taking entries if it's not going to find support, right? And you can see this on an hourly, right? On an hourly. There's your first impulse move to the downside. You traded sideways for less than a whole session, and boom, new low. Traded sideways a little bit longer this time. This test here was weekly support. I posted that on Twitter, looking for a bounce here yesterday. Got it. Boom, traded up. When we got into hourly resistance here and here, I exited the position. And I'm glad I did because, boom, you basically took out that low. Now you're doing the same thing. You're consolidating on the lows. I'm not looking to short this either, right? You're into massive support. 2-week support, weekly support. There's all kinds of support down there. So I'm not looking to take a short. But I'm not looking for bullish entries either. I need to see a bullish reaction. This was a nice bullish reaction off of a specific level, and that's what I look for, right? But it did not continue. There was no follow through on the move. It was immediately sold off. Immediately. So basically any pop in price is getting hit. It's getting smacked. So we'll see what happens, but I don't want to see the end of the year close red. I don't want to see the quarter or Q4 close out red. Because if it does, then I have a much lower target of 35K. And I don't mean that if it closes red in 2 days or in a day, then I'm looking for $35,000 to be hit the next day. I'm talking about over time. So you can see Bitcoin trade sideways, up and down until you get to that area. But this is bad. I mean, your whole bullish move has been retraced essentially. And then any little pop, been hit. So you need to really seriously think about some stuff, right? So $35,000 is all the way down here. That is going to be the yearly lows if I ain't mistaken. Let's see where we are. Yearly still looks okay. In fact, if you take this retracement tool, you can see that you're still trading inside of the 50% and 618 retracements, which is typically bullish. The problem is it's been there 40 times this year already, right? Because over here is your yearly open. So you've been trading in it, out of it, and around it for multiple times. I mean, can it hold support? It absolutely can, right? Absolutely it can. I was looking for support. We just haven't found it yet. I am assuming it will come. But let's go back to the yearly real quick. I just want to get that yearly open in. There's the yearly open. Don't necessarily need the yearly low, but we'll mark it just so we can see what's up. So if we go back out to the quarterly, let's delete that. Delete that. Delete that. So you can see you're still bullish, right? You're still up on the year, which is good. Anything lower than up on the year, net is very negative for most assets. So Bitcoin is still bullish on a yearly basis. Even on a quarterly basis, you're still bullish. So it's not the end of the world when I say things like this. It's simply to prepare you for what may come later, right? Bitcoin making an attempt to get above all-time highs, getting rejected like that, says a lot. It looks like Bitcoin has found a massive price range, and we could trade inside of this yearly candle for a long time, right? Okay, so there we go. Let's go back out here to the 3-day. I mean, it doesn't look great. So if we take out 3-day support, which is where we currently are, then I'm going to be watching for this to get taken out, right? This is going to be my target. And once that happens, then I'll be waiting more to get more clarity. Because I was going for the upside, and then it got retraced. So that tells me that looking on into the future, for the next week or so, I'm going to be aiming lower. Aiming lower. And the best way to do that is basically just to take your last resistance level. Anything up to there is potentially going to be a decent place to get short. Since it was such a fast fall, right? Just basically 1 day, 2 days. There's not really much of anything in here to look for potential resistance. You do have this old daily resistance. This could potentially be a place to look for a resistance test. If you want to take your Fibonacci retracement from that swing high to that swing low, you can see that also puts a 50% retracement really close to the decline. So a bounce up into that could potentially be looked at with bearish implications. If we go out here to the hourly, you'll see that there is also a level right here. You see this level, this bullish candle, 618 retracement level on the main decline. But also what it does is it gets you above all of these swing highs, right? So that would generate enough liquidity for another push lower. Excuse me. So we can watch that area. And that's where it would have to be for me to take a short on it. It has to get up off these lows. So if we get back up around 50 grand, I'm probably going to be looking for resistance. I'd love me to be wrong, right? I'd love for me to be wrong. But that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. So right now there's nothing to do on it. I mean, if you want to take a long down here up to 50 grand, you can. Just make sure your risk is mitigated. Because like I said, every single bounce has been sold. And it's been sold hard. It's not a little bit of selling. That's a lot of selling. Usually when price drops off a cliff like that, something's up. And it dropped off a cliff. That's a pretty big move. It's almost a 11.5% drop from there to there. Excuse me. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. I see FX exactly where it was at yesterday morning. Yeah, there's not a lot, man. There's not a lot going on. The Swiss franc is probably going to be a play. Let's see here. Let me go over here to forex.com or my forex. All right, so where's Swiss yen? Here. So basically the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen are risk off assets or risk off plays. So whenever there's like any fear in the market or uncertainty, a lot of places, a lot of firms and people will run to the Swiss franc for what they view as safety, right? So generally what you will get is you get capital rotation moving out of your riskier assets, moving into the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc. Well, I tried to play this move back when, well, a long time ago, right? Because I seen it coming. When the Fed starts hinting around that they're going to do something, in the past, in my experience, typically means they're going to do it simply because they're warning people and they're doing it slowly. And then last time we had a Fed meeting, lo and behold, he came out and announced taper and rate hikes 2022. So you can see here, this thing has been on a steady climb higher for a few days, right? We go out here, and this is versus the yen. So where I took that position on the yen, I was wrong because the yen isn't seeing that risk on or that risk off mentality. The yen is still getting crushed. Well, here's the Swiss franc. The Swiss franc is getting that strength. Well, it has been getting that strength. Here you got the Swiss franc versus Canadian dollar. So when you pair it against another asset, when it's second, basically when it's the base currency, you're getting lower, right? You're looking for lower. You're looking for Swiss strength. So paired against the Canadian dollar, you're looking to short it. And this has been moving lower. And essentially you can go out to almost every single asset that's paired with the Swiss franc. Look at this versus the euro, which the euro has been absolutely weak. Aussie. Euro has been weaker than the Aussie. And then this one, Swiss, pound Swiss, right? It's kind of, you're getting a bounce. So this is what we're looking for. Something like this, something off of the lows. We wanted to find resistance so we can take that short, looking for continuation lower. Because as of right now, the trend is down. There's no reason to look for anything other than down. You have taken out this, but trend lines are subjective, guys. You're going to hear that from me all the time because they are. Here is your moving indicators. Show you right here. This is on a daily. Basically, the only thing you've gotten back above is your 21 exponential moving average. Typically I don't like to take shorts when you're above the 21. Generally, you can wait until you get back below it if you want to look for shorts, but all of your major moving averages are above you. You are above the 50 on the daily, so not quite ready for a short, but if it finds resistance, we will be looking to short it. Now, I want to find the one that has bounced the most. The one that has bounced the most, and it's going to be a fight between Aussie Swiss and Pound Swiss. Just out of experience, I would probably take the Aussie Swiss over the Pound Swiss because of the spread. The spread is going to be bigger on Pound and NZD. So The Aussie Swiss is going to be the best play. Euro Swiss is not. It's at the lows. It is not. This thing looks like it's going to bounce soon, or should bounce soon. It's just been a one-sided market. So that's, that's proof in itself that people are fleeing out of riskier assets going into safer assets. But the Japanese yen did not, right? It started to look like it was going to here, but we're right back on the lows again. So for whatever reason, they're not treating the Japanese yen as a risk-off currency anymore. And this is the thing about trading in the markets. Just because you know some fundamental thing, some fundamental backdrop from years ago, the markets are constantly changing and shifting and evolving. Just because Japanese yen was a risk-off asset last year and the year before doesn't mean that it will be this year or next, right? It's just typically what has happened in the past. But this year, it's all Swiss franc. All Swiss franc. So here's the Swiss franc index. You can see that you are forming this wedge. You did break out to the downside of it and immediately retrace back into it. So I'm assuming when you get this breakout of this one, you're probably going to see this thing rip to the upside for a little bit, right? At least up to 111. And I want to catch that move to the upside on this. So I'm going to be watching some of the Swissy pairs for resistance. Not today, but soon. As far as today, there really wasn't much as far as that. Oh, one thing I do want to talk about, though, is the USD Turkish Lira. For anybody that's been following this channel, I basically said that you could look for a bounce because this was a massive move. It was the biggest move in FX history, right? So I was looking for a bullish pop. So far, if you took that, you're doing good, right? You're doing fantastic. Now, the only reason that I got that line there is because it's kind of sort of resistance, or the lowest one. You got another one here and then another one here. So you have a lot of resistance coming up in a very tight range of price. But this thing's moving. It's up 3% on the day. It doesn't look like it's moving on the hourly. Like when you see this stuff, it doesn't look like it's moving. But that number right there, that number 3%. Look at the rest of your FX pairs. They all have a 0 in front of them. For an FX pair to move 1% in a day, that is a massive move. This thing's moving 3% on a choppy day. Be very careful. This moves like a crypto. And if you're leveraged up to 20x, you're probably going to get hurt. Be very, very careful. Plus the spread. This is on a paper trading account, right? And it's 438 pips. The other day on Oanda, this thing was at 4,000 pips. Now, the difference between this is like, it doesn't mean that, 4,000 pips on, say, the USD or on the euro. I don't know how they calculate that. But the move itself is about standard, right? You're going to get placed in, like if I was to take this buy here, my entry would probably be down here, right? Somewhere like that. If I wanted to get long there. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It would be like up here. If I wanted to get long now. That's about the spread, right? And if price is moving down and you want to take a short, like let's say where it closed, you would probably get entered like here, right? So it's not like it's not going to be massively away from price, but it is kind of. Just be very careful. No broker is going to have a tight spread on this. This thing is absolutely volatile, but the bounce to the upside has paid off. And I'm also looking for a bounce on USDCNH. Spoke about this recently. Now I am looking for entries on this. As far as the USD Turkish Lira goes, the entry was when I was talking about it last time, not now. Now we still have an opportunity for an entry on this one though. So we're going to see what happens here. This is the 50% retracement of today's range, essentially. Since there is not really anything in there, we can look at this resistance level. This is yesterday, or these two lines is the daily range, or the open and close. Yesterday's open and yesterday's close. You can see how we're trading above yesterday's open. That's fantastic. You can also see how we are in the daily resistance. So I want to take an entry lower, right? But I don't know if it's going to give it to us. But it will eventually. If it continues to go up, it will eventually give us a pullback entry to get long. And the reasons for that is because China wants to start selling it because it's been going up for so long. They want to get some control under it. So they want to slow that down a little bit. So that means we have a fantastic opportunity to take a very long-term swing trade to the upside on this asset. I think your low is in. Yesterday you put in a bearish breakdown, right? Let me get rid of this line. Let me get rid of this. Excuse me. So here is support on a daily basis. And it was holding support yesterday. But there's the breakdown. What have we done today? Well, we've almost printed an engulfing candle. Not quite because we didn't take out the swing low. But, you know, the size of the candle is bigger than yesterday's candle. And it's in the opposite direction, which confirms, if there is such a word in trading. I don't think you can use words like confirmation in trading because I don't think there's anything in the world that confirms a specific move. You can have probabilities, but no confirmation. A confirmation is set in stone. But if there was ever such a thing as a confirmation in trading, I would say an engulfing like this would probably be one of them because it tells us a narrative. This was a bear trap. We broke down below support and instantly price traded back out of the area. So this was to generate new short positions inside of this asset. Once enough of them was generated, they bought it all up and boom, there it goes. So we're going to watch it for potential entries. When I'm looking for potential entries like this, I'm always watching yesterday's open as well as today's open. Today's open is all the way down here. So if we get back down there, it's not going to look so hot anymore. I want it to stay above yesterday's open, or at least above old support, which is this, right? Either one of those two places is potentially a decent entry spot as well. But I don't like it because, you know, you're right here. So we'll just keep an eye on it, keep it on watch, you know, going into the end of this week, into the next week. It is also the end of year. So if anybody's going to get long on this, if it's going to move up in 2022, why not do it at the beginning of the year? So I am looking for this to continue higher, and it would be a decent swing trade. So you don't have to go into it with a full-size day trading position. You can go into it with a 1/3 size position. Have a wide stop, just set it and forget it. Come back 2 or 3 weeks later and see where it's at. And that's what we're going to do on that. But other than that, as far as taking any intraday trades, I don't see anything that I love. Don't see anything that I love. Pound dollar is pretty close to that, but it's having a big bullish pop, man. But we could look for potential shorts on it. Let's see here. No, I'm not going to like it as a short. I can tell you that already. There's just not much. Just not much. I think I would want to see that swing high smoked before it turns around either. As well, I mean. Like, I would want to see that get taken out and then a solid rejection from that zone. That would be indicative of potential selling. So then we would be looking for a pullback to get short for the continuation to the downside. Can it just reverse without touching that? It absolutely can, because there is your daily Heath level. You're into supply, right? You're into supply, and you closed below it yesterday. So this could potentially just be a pullback. So watch the open, boom, then go into your smaller time frame charts. Your indicators are all against you, and the trend is against you. Right? The near-term order flow is against you. So from the 20th to today has been going up, sideways to up. So order flow is bullish. But this is the first time you're seeing an actual rejection as well. So watch the open, right? This is your open. This is daily supply. I don't really see nothing other than that bearish candle there to say, you know, keep it if you get a close above it, then you don't want to take the trade. So here's the old support, swing low. You can see that it is acting as potential resistance now. But in my opinion, when you get closer to 8 o'clock, you're probably going to see a spike up into the open, and also to trigger anybody that got short now that is impatient, right? Trading requires patience, okay? So don't just jump short here because you're into support. No, let price get up at least to the open, and then you can watch and see how it reacts around the open on a smaller time frame, like the 5 or 15 minute. If it's staying around the open, then you're not looking to take a short position on it, because that means that you're probably accumulating short positions and it's going to go higher. So we'll just watch it. But that does bring it up to this, and let me just discuss this trade. I've taken 2 trades this week, one on EURUSD at the beginning of the week, and I lost it. And then I took an entry on USDCAD, and it was a nice trade. Nice trade. Okay. Let me get rid of this stuff. It was here. This was where we were breaking down. Where was the open of the day for that day? Just bear with me. These kind of lessons are the ones that people need to listen to. All right, here we go. So this was the scenario. This was the scenario when we were taking this trade, right? And I didn't take it by myself. I told everybody about it. So it wasn't just me watching it. And it looks terrible, right? It's choppy at best. Multiple days of crazy order flow, up and then down, and you're on the lows. So that screams like a short, right? Short the high, looking for the low. But if I go back to the daily chart, there's multiple indicators showing us there's a potential for bullish strength that day. You're trading at the 21 exponential moving average. All your other moving averages is below price, and you're setting right on the 50 on the daily time frame on the RSI. So that looks like a potential bounce play. So basically I said watch the open. The problem is you know, if you get a little bit too antsy or too nervous, you might take the trade before it's time to take the trade. So here we go. Let me do this real quick. You can see how you got below it here, right? And traded down there for quite a while. So basically what I told everybody, once we broke down, we're not looking to take a long on this because it could be heading lower unless we get back above price. And there's above price. So let me do this real quick. Bear with me. So here is the entry. Oh, I just lost it. Hang on. There we go. There is your entry. My entry is at one spot, 27864. Let me make it bigger for people on mobile. I don't think it does get bigger. That's the problem. It does get a little bit bigger. So here's that white line. That's your open, right? This is price screwing around with people. That's what it does. You get your level and price should hold there, right? So price trades down below the open of the day, and on a 15-minute time frame, you get 3 closes. So that's 45 minutes. 45 minutes worth of trading underneath what you're looking for. So you can see on this bullish candle, as soon as we got above that candle's close and above these bearish candles opens, I took my entry. Buy, long, stop there. That's 5 pips. That's a 5 pip stop loss. Right? On this candle here. So I bought it ahead of the daily open, but with this bullishness, taking out these 2 candles as opens, I just went ahead and took the position, and then the rest is history. Boom. What are we aiming for? We're aiming for high of day. So straight to high of day. That's where you take profits. Then you move your stop to break even, and you let the rest ride. And that's what we did on this trade. Right? And that's what I do day in and day out, every single day, sometimes 7 days a week, thanks to crypto. But that's what we're looking to do every single time, right? So I just wanted to bring that trade up because it was a winning trade. Like I said, there's no point in talking about Euro because it was a defeat. And the Euro is absolutely crazy. Right now, I have no clue what this thing's doing. There's no high probable setups here. I was looking for this to go up. And that's when I got stopped out. But I was a day ahead, right? I was a day early. I think the last live stream I had, I was talking about it. Looking for it to go up and pierce these swing highs. We finally got it. Just not on the day that I took the position. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's see what you guys got to say. Good morning, fams. Good morning, guys. Hi, maybe a bit exotic today. Sure, I'll look at that. And Wes says it's at 23%. Yeah, it is, man. That thing's moving, guys. So trust me, you can get hurt really bad. It's moving a lot. Heath, any chance you can look at Tesla? Yeah. For possible entries? Well, right now you got to be careful because you're going into the end of the year. Right? End of the year. It does look like it's getting a bounce, so this is good news. Looks like Elon's selling a ton of shares or calls or whatever he sold. Didn't really affect it too bad. You are in a downtrend. Not much, though. Until you take out this swing high, you're still basically pressured down. This is a big, strong push. I can't give you an entry. I just can't. There's nothing that's like... I mean, the entry was near the lows. Or here, above your old weekly support. So like, if you try to take a bullish entry now, you're potentially taking a bullish entry into resistance. See? You're not far from weekly resistance. It's also daily res. And it is resistance because even though you did get this day here where you opened and closed above the resistance, look what happened the very next day. Boom. So that's the level there where you're probably going to see a little bit of sell side come back in. So maybe if you get a pullback into this range, this price range from low to high, throw your fibs on it. Oh, maybe I should grab a hold of the fib actually. And maybe look for potential bullish, or look for support first. Around $1,000 or $975. Just look for support. There's nothing in the daily that's going to give you support. But there might be something on the 8-hour or 4-hour that'll give you support there. Just watch for that to occur before you start looking for bullish entries. And just understand you're buying this thing at the highs. Is Tesla going to continue to do what it's been doing? Probably. But for a car company, it's a bit overpriced. I understand why it's overpriced too, guys. Please don't hit me in the comment section being like, well, it's because they do this, and this, and this, and this. And I know. I know. It's a technology company more than it is a car company. I got it. But it is at the highs. And this goes for Bitcoin as well, right? What did this chart do since March 2020? I'll tell you what it did. It probably went straight up. There's March 2020. There. What did it do? Well, in the most bullish of monetary policies, it went straight up. So did Bitcoin. So did everything. It all went straight up. This was the COVID sell-off. This was monetary policy. This was stimulus. This was asset purchases. This was the Fed. All right? The Fed made it extremely bullish for every asset in the world for this period of time. And that was the purpose. That was the goal. Now the Fed is doing a complete 180-degree turn because they have to get inflation under control. So now is not the time, in my opinion, to be looking to buy assets that are trading at all-time highs that were from an induced stimulus. It just doesn't make sense to me. To me, what makes sense is to wait until mid-2022 and see what the Fed's going to do. If they get to that first rate hike already, then absolutely not. You're not looking to buy this, right? Because you're probably going to see choppiness to down for the next year or so until the Fed decides, hey, we can't cut rates or we can't hike rates anymore because it's killing the economy. Then when he says that, then you go back and you buy your favorite assets. Tesla, Bitcoin, all of them, right? Because then the Fed is telling you it's time to get long again. But right now the Fed's telling you it's not time to get long, so I would take the Fed's advice. Please. Please take the Fed's advice, guys. Please don't think you know more than the Fed. Alright, so enough with the rant. Let's roll on here. But yeah, I mean, it's really bullish. We got a couple guys that's trading in and out of these daily swings, and I'm a holder of Tesla, but I have it from way before last year, right? So I'm not looking to buy anymore. I'm just holding what I got. If you had to choose, would you take Tesla over Bitcoin short term? That's tough. I think Bitcoin's going to be worth $1 million one day. I don't see Tesla shares being worth $1 million one day. They're two different things, right? Tesla is a share of a company. Bitcoin is digital money. Bitcoin is the money of the internet. Tesla builds cars. I don't know, right? I think I like Bitcoin better. They're probably going to go hand in hand with one another as far as their overall movements. Not because they're correlated or anything like that, just because monetary policy. Just be careful, guys. Please be careful. They kept saying Bitcoin is the new gold. Now that it is, it's not such a pleasant cliche. Well, Bitcoin is not the new gold, not yet. Gold has a $7.5 trillion market cap. Bitcoin has a $2 trillion market cap. Bitcoin's got a long ways to go before it's gold. Now, if Bitcoin ever does get a market cap that big, Bitcoin's going to be trading around the $500,000 region. But what has to happen is $4 trillion or $5 trillion has to jump into Bitcoin right now for it to have that market cap. Where is that $5 trillion going to come from? That's what you need to make Bitcoin go higher. You need a bigger market cap. You need money flowing into it. Right now, money is flowing out of it. So, it's going to be potentially one day, but not this year. That's for sure. Is those damn Chinese again? Oh, come on, man. You made me sound like a racist. Maybe I should read comments before I read them out loud. Oh, man. Sorry. Can I say, can you SPY or Q? Yeah, let's go look at the S&P 500. S&P 500, same thing, right? Starts to sell off, March 2020. The Fed comes in and rescues it. You're trading at all-time highs. I am getting ready to start looking for puts on this asset. All right. Downside target was taken out. So now it's just to hide and wait, sit and wait. This is probably my next target to the upside, 48.08. Is that the high? It is not, but that would probably be my near-term bullish target because we are trading over hourly res. So for this morning, well, we're not trading over it now. Let's see here. I don't know when this thing opens, but when the SPY opens, it will be then. Let's go ahead and say it opens an hour later, because I think it does open an hour later than FX. So we'll call 1800 the open. You're well above the open. So 47.96.40 would be an area where I'd potentially look for support if it pulls down there. But if it does pull down there, it's not going to look so good. I don't think you just watch this candle here. If you're looking for a day trade on S&P 500, watch 48.01. an hourly close below that, then you're potentially coming back down to the open, yesterday's open, because this is a 24-hour asset. So yeah, that's what I would do. But I mean, the only thing that makes this a target is because of that nasty wick. People are trying to short this now because of that. So that's why that's my target. But once you get up there, then I could potentially see it roll over. But I am going to start buying puts just to protect any downside that's coming. If it's coming. I don't know that it's coming. But what I buy will be just like a hedge, essentially. I'm not looking for a market crash at all. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for choppy sideways action for a while. I took Bitcoin longs 46,500, stop 46,220, 47,100, target hit last night in Asia. Nice work. And the QQQ, let's go look at it. So the Qs is not even as strong as the S&P. The S&P's already made all-time highs. The Qs haven't. There's your all-time high on the Qs. There is your resistance on the Qs. 403.99 is resistance. So maybe a push back up into that area, or maybe this close could be resistance. Right? I don't know where it's trading pre-market. Let's go to the futures. See where this thing's at this morning. Did I do that wrong? I think I have this somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so you're bullish on the day. There's potential resistance. So it's the same level, but the price is different, right? Same level, daily res. That's where you're going to be looking for a potential bounce. You're trading as an inside day. You're trading inside yesterday's range, right? So that means choppy sideways action. So I would potentially be looking for that to be a resistance. However, if it is a day trade, you're going to wait until that level is confirmed, at least what we want to call as confirmed. You want to see a bearish reaction from there. You just don't want to just put a limit sell order there and expect it to hold. That's a very terrible way to do this. And it's a pretty good piece away from near-term price. You might not even get up there because you do have hourly resistance there. So I would be looking for one of these two areas that to potentially be resistance. If you get above it on an hourly closing basis, then you're about to squeeze. You're about to squeeze some shorts, and I'd stay out of its way. All right. Hopefully that helps. Euro PLN. I have never traded this in my life. Let's go out to the daily. See what we got. Just bear with me real quick. I just want to see where we're at. So we were in a bullish uptrend, and it's not a great trend to say the least. You are looking like it's wanting to go lower. So you're coming into an area where there is going to be a bearish target, which is going to be down there. So I wouldn't look to short it today because you're bullish on the day and you've already tested daily supply, right? But as long as you're not closing a daily above that supply zone, then you can look for shorts and you can target $4.57. All right. Let's see if that holds, or €4.55. That's what I'd be looking for, because you took out daily support as well. So this, you did get lower, but you came into a demand zone. So typically when you do that, you're going to get a bounce. Not always, but typically. And you did get a bounce. Today's your bounce. If the shorts are going to run it lower, then they're looking to enter now around that area. I mean, that area is acting as hourly res too. Look at this nastiness. Wick, 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 wick. Just wicks everywhere, man. This thing trades crazy. Not a very liquid asset, I would assume. Well, it's Forex, so it's a lot more liquid than any stock, but you know what I'm saying. Not compared to other ones. It moves crazy, but I still like that as resistance. You can watch hourly res. It's right below it. So if you're looking for the short today to take out the low of day, then you don't want to see an hourly close above that one right there. You do not want to see an hourly close above 4.59745. If that occurs, then you're probably going on up into this one. And if that happens, then potentially look for that to hold. All right. But I do like it lower. It moves crazy, though. Be careful with it. It says it's got a 24 pip spread. But once again, that's TradingView's paper account. I doubt that's 24 pips on a like Oanda or another brokerage. It's probably much more than that. Good morning, Cassidy. Hey, mister, good morning. I'm actually awake through the Asian session this morning. Not too exciting. Well, right now you're in the London session, moving into the New York session. So, yeah, it's not. Nothing's really exciting this morning. Thank you once again for the live stream. You are welcome, K4 Liberty. Thank you once again for your support, my friend. If you want short Bitcoin at these levels, how about Matic or another alt that's been ripping? Absolutely. Yeah, that's where I typically look for my short plays when Bitcoin is like that, right? I don't know if I would like try to short something like Luna or something like that, because Luna is absolutely crushing shorts and has been. But yeah, looking for an asset, let's go to Matic, because that's what you specifically said. Oh, that's Matic. There's Matic. So yeah. It's coming off pretty good. Not like Bitcoin, though. It's been trading up, right? And you're into daily support. So right now, you don't typically want to take a short right now. But we can look for a potential level to look for resistance. And for me, that would be $2.55. If I'm looking to enter a short position today on Matic, which is Polygon. Oh, man, I've been doing this without this on. Sorry, guys. If I'm looking at this is where I'd be looking to take a potential short at 255. That's a 12-hour resistance level. That's what held Bitcoin also. So that's where I would look. It must not close a 12-hour candle above that. It's almost coincides with 8-hour resistance. It is also 4-hour resistance. Not really 2-hour resistance. Not really much there on the hourly either. Where's your open? 1900 hours. This is your open here. So you're slightly bullish on the day, right? So I don't think I'd be looking for the short today. Your first move is lower. Daily impulse leg to the upside. Probably going to test that. But I was looking at one the other morning that I spoke about on the live stream, and I can't remember which one it was, but I know one thing. It did not work. It cut right through resistance. Which one was it? I don't think it was either one of these. Yeah, I don't remember, but either way, it did not hold. But yeah, typically that's what I would do, is I will look for an alt that's strong or has been strong and look for potential shorts on it. Ah, come on. There we go. But stay away from Luna. I mean, Luna might be a good short, but see, if you remember when Bitcoin back in 2017, yeah, Luna's coming off a little bit. Wow, Luna came off quite a bit. All right, so there's your going to be an area of potential resistance, $87.29. If you fail to close the daily above that level, I'd be potentially looking for shorts. And my target would be this day's low, today's low. That's just where I would take the majority of the profits off and move my stock to break even, get all my risk out of the market, and just let it play out. Let it see what it wants to do. That's where I'd be looking first on Luna. Okay, but back what I was saying, back in 2017 when Bitcoin was in its bear market, if you remember, Link was everybody's favorite. I don't know if 2017 price action is going to be on this. It's not. Oh, where you at? Let's go to Binance. Well, there's not even any 2017. I guess what you could say, it happened after 2018, 2019. What I'm trying to say is Chainlink was bullish. When everything else was bearish, Chainlink wasn't. Right? This is the March 2020 sell-off. And Luna was at highs when it sold off. Right? So it just had an inherent strength about it. So you can get that again in Bitcoin, or this year. If Bitcoin starts to go lower, there might be one or two alts out there that keeps going up because people like it, because it's good to own. And Luna might be that, right? Luna's been absolutely on fire. In my opinion, it's probably one of the strongest assets. One of the strongest assets. Look at this thing on a weekly, man. Just poof. So shorts have been getting wrecked on it. I would find one that's like not trading at all-time highs, like Litecoin or something like that. Yeah, definitely short Litecoin. I don't even have Litecoin on this. Let's see what old Litecoin's doing. Yeah, it's just, it's inherently weak. It didn't even make an all-time high. It's just nothing to do on it now. So I guess you will have to find one that's trading at least up on the highs. Maybe this one, Cosmos. A lot of people like Cosmos. A lot of people seeing Cosmos trading at $100. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's just going to be hard to find the actual alt that's going to be the best. Something like BAT. I shorted BAT at its all-time highs. There was my entry. I took profits on that liquidator candle though. So I'm completely out of the position. With something like this. This has been moving, or was moving last week, C98. Not so much on this one. I think Dent was too. No, not so much. It's still in a downtrend. Yeah, you're just going to have to find one that's trading up around the highs. Look for a rollover. Silver. XAGUSD. Silver. Someone asked me yesterday why gold and silver hasn't been moving up in this inflation period. And the answer to that is I have no clue. Right? I mean, I have no clue. Instead of going up, this thing started to come off. These typically are inflation hedges. It has a lot to do with the dollar strength, because this is paired against the dollar. So if your dollar is moving up, then these are going to fall. Unless they're stronger than the dollar. And neither gold nor silver has been strong since August of last year. So, I mean, it's range bound, my friend. But you can trade it because this is a daily range. That's your supply zone way up there, and it didn't even test it. Didn't even get up there. So there's probably a level there that's on a smaller time frame. 12-hour resistance. It's at support right now. Or potential support, I should say. Looks like it is trying to roll over. See if it holds here around the $22.70 area, because it's 12-hour support. 8-hour support's lower, but you did test it and now you're getting a bounce here. The 12 hour I'd put more weight on. It could potentially bounce from here. If not, you're looking for 2250. On the week, it looks terrible. It's just, you know, it's awful. Trading in this range, not getting any continuation to the downside. You're just trading in a range. You did get a break and close below weekly support right here, and you didn't get any bearish continuation. You're right back up into the range. You're doing essentially like what Euro's doing right now. It's just trading in a range, chopping people up, not giving you good areas to look for resistance. And it's red on the week. So what you could do is you could wait for, this is the weekly open. Let's go look into the intraday charts again, see what's what. You're real close to the weekly open. So this would fall in line with the CTM strategy, swing trading strategy, right? You wait for support to be found. You have found support. You're not in an uptrend though. Not really, right? So that means if you're taking any bullish positions, you're on the wrong side of the trade. Chances are any pop in price can get sold into. But there's always that chance that this is support and it goes higher. This is why we take positions. But if you wait for the weekly to be like, let price get back above that, then that could potentially be a zone to enter a bullish position, targeting that resistance again. If price keeps rejecting at the weekly open, then you're going to be looking lower. But that's what I would do on silver. Oh man, it just glitched on me. Jesus. Man, there wasn't any comments, and now there's a ton. Where are we at? It's getting late, so let me just rip through these real fast. My top picking stupid brain is looking at pound CAD short. Can you show us how to set a position on Kucoin like you did on some back to the block? I have a video on that very topic discussing how to take entries and exits on Kucoin. If you look in my playlists, you'll see it. It says trading futures on Kucoin. There's a video already made on it. So you just have to go watch that. I've already done it. All right, let me do .USD and then I'm going to have to wrap it up. Come on now. Type. Learn how to type, man. We don't want to look at it on Kraken. Kraken's garbage. Let's look at it on Coinbase. Coinbase has a lot of data. Oh, Mr. Polkadot, how you have fallen. And this thing's off pretty good. This thing dropped 57% again. But no, this one doesn't have as much data. Where is Dot here? That's Doge. There's Dot. I mean, it looks the same, but this one has a little bit more data. This one shows the first drop. And see, you made a new all-time high, and you did the same thing as Bitcoin. Very, 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 very volatile stuff. It dot traded. It's doing exactly the same thing as Bitcoin. There is your liquidator range right there, and you're trading inside of it. You're inside of that range. So basically, anything lower than that and anything higher than that is not high probable. You're in the middle of the range. You need to get above that or below that to start making well-rounded trading decisions. So here was daily res, but the 12-hour resistance held on Bitcoin. Let's see if it held on this one too. No, it didn't. So on this one, you had a false breakout on the daily and 12-hour resistance levels. There's your breakout. There's your false breakout. Once you took out the low of that candle, you have a bull trap. You can see yesterday you traded back up into it. and seeing continuation. So since the sell-off was pretty rapid, you can watch yesterday's open for potential resistance on it. I wouldn't take a short on yesterday's open because that makes it a very tight range. See, very tight range, but you can watch it to see if it holds as resistance on an hourly basis. I would want to do it higher. Like, if I'm going to short it, I want to short it up around $29 or $30, not down here, just because you're so close to potential support. Let's see if there is a 2-week demand. On the 1 week, you're below support. On the weekly, you haven't even tested last week's open yet. So this asset is structured a little bit more bullish than Bitcoin is. And that kind of changes everything. Yeah, I mean, this would be the resistance level that I would watch. If you get above that, then don't look for shorts. And that's right up there. And then you're going to be looking for potential shorts up higher. But I would leave it alone. It's going to do what Bitcoin's going to do. And right now, there's no trade on Bitcoin, in my opinion. Unless it's a long. That's the only trade on Bitcoin. And that's only for a bounce. All right, guys. With that, I got to wrap it up. If you have any comments or questions, just drop them down in the comment section as I try to answer every single one of them. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.